Audio recording for January 19th, 2014. Before I start this one, I just want to apologize up front by saying that in this one I come across as very arrogant. And sometimes that does happen. I make these recordings, in a variety of different emotional states, and sometimes I do them, like this one, when I'm kind of pissed off about something or frustrated. And but I still share them because I think it's important to know that, like people put on a professional face online or when they're speaking to people, like they're, Buddhist monk and they're never pissed off or something. They're always at peace. Well, I highly doubt that. They stub their toe, they're gonna swear. They're gonna come across someone who's just so damn annoying that they bitch about them later. I mean, this is real life, and um, I do have moments of total arrogance, and I always reflect on them later and go, God, I'm such a silly bitch. But uh, I don't know. I guess it's just important to share it. So here it is.
Lately, I've been in one of those phases where it just seems incredibly tiresome to try and explain everything to everybody. Like, I keep thinking of different archetypes for normal people, and it just seems exhausting. Like, there's just so much you don't know, so much you haven't figured out. It just seems like so much effort to try and explain things and catch you up. The gap between us is so far. There's just almost like no hope in a way. I mean, there needs to be almost be like a simple statement that just says like, listen, it's not my responsibility to explain how everything works, because it would take weeks and years of our time to do this. So there needs to be like one statement, and I don't know what it would be exactly, but just something along the lines of you're stupid or you're ignorant. You just don't know it. You haven't accepted it. So get over yourself. Accept that you're at this moment a stupid person, and just don't be all negative about it. Just realize that you don't know shit. So just figure it out, and that's like the key. That's the thing that like kicks you forward to make you kind of understand it, I guess.
Okay, so this is a real effect when you study philosophy and you just sit around and meditate a lot and you think about life and the universe and stuff. You do reach this point where there actually just like feels like there's a big gap between what you know and what people around you know. And I think this is probably why most people consider philosophers to be arrogant and douchebags, I guess, because they have this effect. And I think a lot of people do operate under it because they just feel like so superior in their knowledge and their insight and stuff. And I won't lie, like I often feel that way too. Like when I sit around and listen to other people's conversations or talk with them, a lot of times I'm just internally like, like I wish you would just realize this one thing or think in a different way because you're complaining about some silly little thing or you're thinking in a way that doesn't really make rational sense, and I wish I could just help you correct it, but it's ultimately kind of futile because even if I told you some insightful piece of information that I've learned, it wouldn't really mean anything to you because you're missing like prerequisite information and you don't have all the different angles and perspectives on things because you have to actually sit down and meditate and think about these things for years and years and years like philosophers do. That's why I think we feel so or feel and act so arrogantly. And I don't know, for me it's something I try and avoid, and it's something I always, like I mentioned at the beginning, I always sit down later if it has happened. I'll sit down and go, God, I'm such an asshole. Like, I shouldn't have said that, or I shouldn't have thought this way. Like, this is the problem with philosophy. Like, don't be that person. Fortunately, it usually just comes out in personal settings, like a personal voice recording like this, or just a thought when I'm sitting by myself and I find myself being too egotistical, I'll try and catch myself and be like, hey, settle down. You're nothing. You're still nothing. Despite having all this knowledge, what have you done? You still haven't accomplished anything. It's not like this gives you superpowers. Yeah, so what? You think about something and it might be like enlightening, but what is that? There's no practical purpose. There's no practical end result, So ultimately, I'm just as I don't know what the word would be, just I don't know, just as normal as everyone else, I guess, or at the same level or whatever. But yeah, okay. So I guess that covers it. Thanks for listening. See you next time.